in Thailand, there actually was one incident, only it happens back at the Hermits, and for once, I almost had nothing to do with it. That crusty bitch Stacy had stolen my cell phone. I didn't bring it to Thailand because I wasn't going to have a signal, so I let Christine borrow it, and somehow she ended up with it. Then, to make matters worse, I was in a delay of information and could only be informed via emails as to how the situation was unfolding. It was a disaster. The cops were called, and according to Christine, Stacy was friends with one of the officers, meaning that the hermit couldn't even kick her out of the house. I think that by the time I finally made it back to Connecticut, she was gone, left of her own will. I'm just glad I wasn't there for the ordeal, because I would have killed that bitch. The phone bill she left me with was into the hundreds of dollars. I seriously hope that she dies of crabs. On another note, I landed safely and was now back at my parents'. I was to stay there for another week or two, still healing. In actuality, I'd be recovering for the better part of a year, but that wasn't going to stop me from picking right back up where I left off. Now armed with a vagina of my very own, it was only a matter of time before I'd be back to getting myself into trouble and heartbroken all over again. I slightly remember my mom still taking it a little rough, but she did seem to be coming around. There was even a day that Bettina stopped by, so at least someone got to see my final achievement. By this time, Bettina had already dated several guys closer to her own age, and there was no way we were ever getting back together. Another nice side effect of SRS is that once you remove the parts which produce the male hormones, you can finally stop taking all those testosterone blockers. And what that means is, your face and body will again drastically change with even the slightest amount of estrogen. Then one day while cleaning up after dilating, this is probably going to be uber gross. The best way to describe it is that my pussy coughed up a huge hairball. Almost 3 months since the surgery, I finally lost all the stitches and was healing nicely. See, I figure if I have to write about things which embarrass me, I also get to write about the stuff which will probably gross other people out as well. It's called revenge. So from there, I did what anyone in my situation would have done. I took naked pictures of myself. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about. I took naked pictures of myself in my parents' bed, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, basically everywhere I saw fit. Then it was off to my doctors to convince them that I needed a lengthy supply of real pain meds. There was still a great deal of soreness. However, the length of the script I ultimately received was definitely not necessary. 7.5 milligram of codeine dispensed from a bottle without a bottom? I guess when you go through something such as I had, convincing your doctor that it always hurts is pretty easy. I was now itching to try out my new parts, and it wasn't long before I found a willing partner. Despite our prior bickering, Christine was still Christine. I didn't hate her. We merely had a fistfight over a roll of toilet paper. No biggie. So she tried it out, and to be honest, it fucking hurt. For real. It actually hurt so bad I had to stop. It was obviously still going to be a while before it was truly and thoroughly healed, which only meant that it was back to the lesbian section of the dating pool. I reposted my Yahoo profile and returned to work to see how things had gone with my school. I'd been away for just over 3 months now. Those who might have not known about my change surely knew now. I can almost say that I got a similar reaction from my coworkers upon my return to that of those back in New Jersey upon my coming out. There was a definite distance now. At least my school had run itself well and was actually nearing course completion. Practically every new employee had since passed through, once again leaving me without all that much to do. Here's where I again began doing menial jobs, like taking care of paperwork, serial numbers, basically all the jobs that no one else wanted to do. Sometimes I'd bounce back and forth between Q&A, laser etching, writing dispositions. Because they had specifically created my position for me personally, I was one of the few who had the freedom to move between the cells and do just about any job, while everyone else was restricted to the tasks that they had been delegated to. It was sort of a good thing, because it allowed me to build up my resume with a lot of very different skills. However, the flip side to this is that it often meant that I had no real purpose. And with weirded out coworkers no longer giving me their real work, I was undoubtedly going to struggle. Add the fact that I still retained a huge portion of that lingering post-op depression. Now what do I do with myself? And I was facing a depressive disaster. Although my gender would still be thrown into question on occasion, at the very least, I would no longer question it myself. Now, it was society's problem. All I needed to do was switch things up and learn how to deal with other people's problems concerning my change.